Okay, this is really disturbing, and I saw this on the news, and I'm sure if you hadn't seen it, well, this article is really sad, and it's really disturbing, and it's also truth telling about the perils of life being a black woman getting pulled over by the police. What could possibly happen, what has happened, and just so this woman is suing. So this is out of the root, a black woman suing police over violent and unwarranted arrest. And so this is by Rachel Pilgrim. And so here she is right here. It's really sad and it's very troubling because, well, let's get into it. So you see, she's very teary eyed and her name is Nakia Porter. And so during a news conference, she announced her situation. Basically, I guess they were asking her some questions. So this is Solano County Sheriff deputies. Okay, so their lawsuit that is brought against two of the sheriff deputies. And so Nakia Porter, she's 33 years of age, a software engineer, and she's suing the Solano County Police Department in Northern California for her violent arrest last summer. And so on the night of August the 6th, 2020, Porter was traveling back home to Orangevale from a trip to Oakland with her father and her two daughters and a niece. So she and her father were switching seats so that he could drive when the police squad car had pulled up behind their vehicle. So they already knew they were being pursued. So according to the CBS News Bay Area, Porter says that during this arrest, she was knocked unconscious and dragged to the back of the police car. Okay, so it's really sad. So there's more to this story. More to the story. Okay. So as the events had unfolded, and her 61-year-old father were making a 100-mile drive home from Orangevale, northeast Sacramento, after a family trip to Oakland. Her two daughters, which are 3 years old and 6 years old, and her 4-year-old niece were in the back seat when this was going on. So Porter's, she's a software engineer, and her father, who is retired, he worked in computer networking. So it runs in the family. So Porter was behind the wheel when they stopped along the empty road in Dixon. So the deputy squad car pulled up behind with the flashing lights. Porter already was out of the car and explained that they were switching driver seats and would be on their way according to the court filing. So the deputy said that they noticed the car had a mismatched license plate. So a California plate on the back of the car and one from Maryland on the front of the vehicle. However, the deputies had called in the rear license plate to their dispatch and knew that it matched the description of the car and that there was no report of a car being stolen. So this is what the filing had stated. So the lawsuit, which names two deputies and a superior officer who signed off on the police report, says that the police not only wrongfully arrested her, but they also lied about the details of the arrest to responding paramedics as well. And on their reports, they lied. And so the Associated Press reports that the body cameras worn by these officers recorded them pulling guns on Porter before slamming her to the pavement. And they also handcuffed the 61-year-old father. Now these are people who weren't combative, they weren't fighting, they weren't resisting arrest, but they were treated as if they were criminals and resisting arrest. So for those that are listening, I am not resisting, Porter said into the deputy's cameras. So she basically, you could see on a video body cam, she basically was talking about her situation being pulled over. You are not reading me my rights. And so she knew that they were supposed to read her rights, and I guess they weren't doing all of those things accordingly. So the deputies pushed Porter against the squad car and then to the pavement while trying to handcuff her on top of all of this. Put your hands behind your back. Get on your stomach. So this is McCampbell who shouted this. And so the footage gets very sharky at, seeing this. And it's hard to see whether Porter is resisting. So Porter and the court filing allege that the deputies punched her in the head and the stomach and kneeled on her back and pulled her hair. And so I saw they had a strands of her hair that they yanked out of her head. They were pulling so hard. So she said she passed out seconds after the deputies closed the handcuffs. I think she was out. You can hear McCampbell say it on the video. He said that. So Porter claims, according to the Associated Press, that she didn't regain consciousness until 5 minutes later, but the officers told the paramedics that arrived on the scene that she regained consciousness within seconds. So they lied about that, and they walked herself to the police car. So she requested to be taken to the hospital, but the officers denied the request, insisting that she was only knocked out for a little while after fighting them, which it doesn't sound like that was an honest statement either. So Porter was kept in jail overnight on suspicion of resisting arrest. Let me read that again. She was kept in jail overnight for suspicion of resisting arrest. So she was released but never charged with any crimes. So don't tell me that black women don't go through stuff. We get pulled over, we can get that type of treatment. And so I was doing my best to do everything right, she says, giving no reason to be treated like this, she said. And so it is so true that the plight of black women, we get really harsh treatment, and we are looked at as criminals. We are not looked at oftentimes as human beings. There's a lot going against us too. And so just being a black woman is hard. It's hard. And I know this because I'm the same as she is. And so I'm a black female, and I know what this feels like. This is personal, this article. This is really personal for me. And so that's why I decided to do it, because I know what she's feeling right now. And so she happened to get it on, they got her situation on body camera. So anyway, I'm going to let this go, but I really hope that she could possibly succeed in this lawsuit. But I will say this, because of the situation that is presented itself and the lies that are being told, they might let them walk. I'm hoping not. But a lot of times people who do these things are not held accountable for their actions. And they figure they can keep doing it over and over and over again.